Hi. So apparently there was a brawl in the Wonder of the Seas last night, and there's two stories, or not two stories, but there were two patients that were injured. One was a woman that kind of took a bad step and probably had a fracture in her lower. I believe it's probably was the ankle. She probably had a like a torsion in the ankle area, and that can be a spring, but you need X-rays to make sure that it's not a it's not a fracture. So and then the other medical emergency was actually a brawl that took place near the poolside. There was this man apparently traveling with his mother. He was in his 30s. He was drunk and was battering his mom, which was around, we don't have exactly but she looked around 70 years old. And he started like grabbing her and battling her. He threw her to the ground and was like kind of dragging her. So there was this other older gentleman. He was an older gentleman, I will say, I don't know, probably in his 70s, 80s too. Fragile man. And this guy just went after him. He started beating him up. He had no mercy on this poor guy. There was blood everywhere. He probably, older people, sometimes they don't coagulate as as younger people, and obviously osteoporosis is one of the major factors in older people. That's why just a simple fall can create a big fracture, and on top of that there's what it's called fat emboli or embolism, when a big like the femur or a big bone is broken. There can be particles in the marrow that can go into the bloodstream, and that creates an embolism. So when you have multiple fractures, that's the risk of embolism. That added with the blood loss can create a lot of clotting, and that can create CBAs or MIs. So the boat actually had no well, there were these two incidents actually. If you see them separated, probably the first one was not that urgent and probably could have been casted and maybe taken an X-ray and the next port of call. But the second one, definitely, this poor man with all these injuries became a liability. And on top of that, the man that beat him up, this was not that far away from the coast of Miami. I don't know if they were in international waters or not, but if they were, that can be persecuted in the U.S. because it happens in international waters, and he will be liable to all the international laws. On top of that, that also what happens if you beat up somebody in international waters? Well, that depends on the boat registration. If the boat is registered to a certain country, generally they will persecute it through that. But now the laws have been changing. Maritime law is very, very gray in that matter. So that's what is happening. So the boat had to deviate back to Miami. There were ambulances waiting for both patients. Apparently the elderly gentleman that was beat up, he was life-flighted to I think Jackson Memorial, if I'm not wrong, but I'm not sure if it was this hospital. But yeah, he was in critical condition, and as I said, I mean, a beat up is different if you're 30 years old than if you're 80 years old. I mean, multiple fractures can create multiple problems, and obviously everything is much more fragile, and also your heart will not stand. As I said, like a hypovolemia, which is low blood flow because of losing blood or a clot like an emboli. So let's pray for this person to be okay. I think the man was definitely arrested. And on top of that, there were some other little fights that came out from this arguing. And there was actually a guy that wanted to lynch this other person. So there's a lot of great things. The thing is that the boat Wonder of the Seas is huge. It's a big, big boat. So, and at that moment, there were not that many people around where this happened. Obviously, it was during the night, and during the night, the pool, it's kind of quiet, and that's where it happened. And that's why this guy intervened, because nobody was doing anything when he saw that he was almost dragging this poor lady, and he was not just verbally abusing her, but apparently physical abusing her. I think she wanted him to go to bed, and he was not having it. So, as I said, right now it's a little bit. This is just somebody in the boat that told me the story. But at this point, I'm not 100% sure of what ended up happening with them. So we'll keep you updated. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching.